We would like to begin by relating a rather well-told story concerning ourselves that has a direct bearing, of course, upon the lesson. During the time that we were on this plane of expression, there was this young prince who came seeking knowledge and awareness. He was quite persistent. In short, he was a pest, returning time and time again, not being satisfied with the little that we told him at the time. That, in and of itself, is a test to see if one is resolved to truly seeking awareness or is merely a dilettante. But the young man persisted, and therefore we gave this young man a gift from the garden. The young man sped away and placed this gift in a golden box, in a magnificent room, in an opulent palace. Each morning, for many, many months, he would enter the room and open the box and stare. Finally, he stopped. More months went by, and a very learned individual sought out the prince and was given audience. During the discussions, the young prince told this learned man, "Well, of course, you realize that Zoroaster is a fraud, a feeble old man, senile, you know." The learned scholar said, "Well, how is this possible? From all I have heard, this is not the case." The prince said, "Well, if you doubt my word, I will show you." So, he took him down a long hall and into this magnificent room, showed him this golden box, and said, "Look inside." The scholar did as he was told. He stood back in awe and said, "Ah, Zoroaster is surely the wisest of the wise." Well, the prince was quite perplexed. It was as if everyone had the answer to the secret except him. As you know, royalty, at least when they think they are royalty, do not like that type of situation. So he said, "I do not understand." The scholar said, "Well, the wise one has given you this gift. It is a gift of truth. It is a gift of wisdom. It is a gift of prosperity. It is a gift of abundance. It is, in short, all of creation." The prince was still perplexed and said so. "You misunderstand," the scholar related. "Leave. Take this gift out into the world and leave the golden box, the magnificent room, and the opulent palace. You can still have everything, all that you own, but take this and use it." Well, of course, the answer to the riddle was that it was a seed, a grain of wheat. The understanding that all things are one. By understanding the seed within your own heart, you have all truth, all wisdom, all prosperity, all abundance. That seed is the voice of the creative source. Now, we give forth information to you, and it is up to you to use it or not. Make no mistake, if you accept the gift that is the lesson, you also accept the responsibility of it. You may use it now, or you may allow it to lay dormant for centuries, but you will take responsibility at some point. So, the young prince went forth, stating that his desire and purpose was to record all the teachings, all the Psalms of Zoroaster. Now, for whom did he accomplish this work? For humanity. That was a secondary motivation. He did it for himself, so that he, too, would know wisdom, truth, prosperity, and abundance that transcend all planes of consciousness. Each of you, and all of the other thousands, over the centuries, and in the past decade in particular, has been given seeds. There is no demand, except within yourself, to utilize them. It is by accepting them that you also accept the responsibility to do for yourself. If you wish to help humankind, that is secondary. You begin the first step with yourself. We gave information a short time ago concerning a supposed 5-step formula. We used those words because humankind loves that type of thing. It smacks of religion and mysticism, things unseen. Everyone likes to be privy to knowledge that no one else has. It sets him or her apart. The first of these steps is honesty. That is what this lesson is about, honesty of feeling. Now understand what that entails. We mentioned that in this new millennium, there must be a blending between the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious mind. How might honesty help with that? Well, the subconscious is pure emotion without focus. In and of itself, it is without focus. It is only the conscious mind that provides the focus. You may feel joy, you may feel anger, you may feel love, you may feel envy, you may feel jealousy, but it has no purpose unless given so by the conscious mind. Therefore, one might say that the subconscious would be within the statement, I feel. It has no focus, it simply feels. Honesty entails a great deal. By stating what you feel honestly, you do many things for yourself. You wipe away blocks from your life, from the chakra system of the body, and free yourself to learn even more. Many will say to you, you might even say to yourself, ah yes, but if I am honest, truly honest with my feelings, my life will be a ruin because of all that I am feeling. It will harm others. It will be misinterpreted. There is any number of things that you might use, any number of statements that you might use as justification for not being honest with your own feelings. If that is the case, if that does exist in your thinking, then understand the motive behind the feeling. Remember, we said emotion, which is the subconscious, is without focus. It is the conscious mind that provides the focus. In turn, what is the motivation provided by the conscious mind? It is merely directing the emotion. What is the lack that one feels? So, we come back to the idea of the humble onion, taking it back, peeling it back, layer by layer, understanding what the motive of the emotion is as provided by the conscious mind. What is the purpose of the conscious mind? To maintain its primary purpose is to maintain the integrity of the body, to keep it from harm, to keep it away from jeopardy, to keep it away from any invasion, to maintain its wholeness and its health. Therefore, it will go to great lengths in order to maintain that. Yet, at the same time, it is subject to its own weakness. For that is also a weakness, maintaining when carried in an extreme manner, and the body is allowed to be invaded. For example, if one has the pure emotion of anger and does not allow the honesty of the emotion, one suppresses and represses that anger because the conscious directive of the mind says, I cannot say this for fear that in so doing, the person to whom I say this will harm this body. Therefore, silence is golden. I will try to keep it to myself. In the process of doing that, you have the weakness, for by suppressing and repressing the emotion, once it has been introduced through the subconscious, it feeds upon itself. What had been frustration becomes resentment, becomes anger, becomes hatred, and becomes rage. Yet, it is not vented. If it were, at that point, then it would be devastating to the other individual to whom it might be addressed, or even the situation. The point is to relieve that energy, to give it vent before it becomes so acute. Let us say that it is not given vent at any time. It remains within the body. What occurs? There must be a change. Therefore, you understand the weakness within the consciousness as far as the directive. By keeping it inside the body, inside the presence that is the personality, it feeds upon itself and becomes an illness, a disease, a discomfort that will manifest it must in some form. Cancer, heart trouble, hypertension, whatever. What then occurs? The conscious mind says, well, obviously, because I have directive over this, because I intend to maintain the integrity of the body, someone or something did this to me. Therefore, I am a victim. I could not possibly have done this to my charge, the body. I am the victim. I am not responsible for this. God did this. The devil did this. My mother-in-law, my husband, my wife, my children, my books, the Democrats. You see, you have an infinite variety of individuals or situations to blame, pushing it away, the responsibility, again. Let's take another situation. Let us say that each of you truly wish to be able to utilize the abundance to which you are entitled, to be able to heal the sick, the lame, the deaf, the blind, to be able to know telepathically what is within the mind of your neighbor, to see clearly as a clairvoyant, to hear energies from another plane, the reach, the greater awareness to which so many aspire. If that is your choice, if that is what you desire, then start by being honest with your own feelings. You might say, how could that possibly help me to be telepathic, to be a healer, to be a clairvoyant, to be clairaudient? Well, by being honest with your feelings, you're moving the energy that is the subconscious. Remember, that is raw energy. You're taking it and you're moving that raw energy within the configuration that is the total chakra system. You are moving it through each of those chakras, clearing them. It is one form. You're connecting the subconscious with the conscious mind, with the superconscious. You are taking the energy and removing, by being honest, any blocks that may impede the progress of that energy. Very simple. Thousands of books have been written, and many thousands have gained great wealth from marketing the secret to clairvoyance, the secret to clairaudience, the secret to total awareness. You got quite a bargain here, didn't you? So, this is the beginning. Utilize the energy for yourself. Realize that by expressing the emotion honestly, you are aiding yourself. Now, let us once again go back to the motivation. You can only express emotion clearly, honestly, if you understand why it exists. You may say to it, yes, but you also wish to know, to understand why it exists. Thus, the motivation. If it is of a negative nature, the emotion, it will have focus given to it by the conscious mind. Then you must peel it away. What is the feeling? For that, in essence, is a block within the entire chakra system. So, peel it back. Remove the layers of deception, of confusion, and see it for what it is. If it is anger, what is the anger concerned with? You say it is a person. No, it is not the person. You dig a little deeper, and you say, well, it is the attitude this person has, and I will say, no, it is not. You will argue back and forth, and say, of course, it is. How dare you tell me? But, in reality, if you look deeper, it is not the other person's attitude, but rather your concept of you within that situation which has focus with a particular individual. Perhaps it concerns an emotion that is felt within yourself, that is directed toward self, even your joy. You see, because too often when one begins this sort of thing, one focuses only on the negative emotions, negative energies. You're not totally negative by any means. You have positive emotions, positive energies as well. Then state those. You say, well, that's a lot easier. I can honestly say that I have great joy for this person or this situation. Why? What's your motive? What is it in this situation with this individual that registers with you to the extent that it is compatible with your own motivation. For you see, even the anger is compatible with your own motivation, or else anger would not exist. It has to strike a chord within your being. Therefore, you must delve, you must understand. Individuals may read 3, 4, 500 books attempting to understand the development of their own awareness, and yet it is so simple. The answers are not outside of yourself. The answers are within. They may be interpreted by others through books, manuscripts, and so forth. Yet, remember, the part of the fun, the voice of the creative source, the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega, the voice within your own heart that is the creative source, is that answer. It begins with you. Therefore, if honesty is a part of the formula, then you begin with self to understand, to be honest with yourself concerning your feelings. Many are afraid of that, or perhaps more accurately, they are ashamed of their feelings or embarrassed by them. Why? There is nothing in all of creation that one need be embarrassed about or fear. The creative source certainly is not embarrassed. That is a human concept. Peel it back. What does it mean? The next layer is guilt. Shame and embarrassment are the byproducts of guilt, and humanity created that rather dubious emotion. Guilt, when felt, will cause one to stop there, because too many are afraid to go beyond that. What they usually do is say, well, my mother makes me feel guilty. Aunt Harriet makes me feel guilty. Mrs. Smith makes me feel guilty, and they never go beyond that. What does guilt have to do with it? What does it mean? It means that you hold a desire, a want that does not conform to the wishes of another. Therefore, it is seen as socially unacceptable, inappropriate socially, within your own family perhaps, as well as within the greater spectrum of society. What you are actually saying with guilt is that you are ashamed of what you feel. You are ashamed of what you desire. You are ashamed of what you want. Why? Peel back the onion. Why? A sense of being inadequate. Possibly. A sense of lack. Perhaps. A sense of fear. Probably. It is the conscious mind, once again, making its directive in force without the consent of the subconscious or the superconscious. It is saying, in order to maintain the integrity of this body, we must conform to these rules. We cannot have those desires, those wants, those feelings. So what has occurred is this terrible distortion in society, in human needs, as to what is proper and appropriate and what is not, which in turn has led to all of the evils. And I use that word advisedly, and yet at the same time it is most accurate. All of the evils of the world, prejudice, hatred, wars, destruction, all of those things are based on the repression of one's desires or wants. The statement made clearly, honestly, of one's feelings. If each human being understands the motive behind the feeling, then it may be stated honestly. For instance, I see this person and I feel great anger. So, let me state to the individual, I see you and I feel great anger. There is nothing wrong with that statement. It is an honest statement. It is yours and it must be owned. You're not making accusations. You're stating what is honest and true for you. I feel anger. Now, the other person may take this in a different way, and you may find yourself in the emergency room. Not really. I'm being facetious because most people will become flustered and react to that statement. You will confuse them because, you see, you have not accused. Being human beings, the first reaction will be, why? What have I done? you see, again, the embarrassment. It is not that they have done anything. It is what you perceive they have done. It is what you feel within yourself. You are actually making a statement concerning yourself. When you say, "I feel angry," you are not only stating that, you are also stating that the anger is yours. It is within you. In order to understand it, you must know what the motivation is. Therefore, this person to whom you say this can be of aid to you if you desire. You may talk with this person, again not blaming, not finding fault, but in the spirit of investigation and the acquiring of knowledge. And so two people will benefit from that statement, and it will double. It will be 4 and 8 and 16 and 32 and 64. And before too long, the munitions people will be out of business. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It isn't. What is another element that individuals need in order to state honestly what they feel? It is belief in themselves and the courage to state the truth. Thus, the second part, truth. Each human being does have truths or beliefs within his or her own heart. Those truths may be positive or negative. There is no demand that they be either. By taking that first step and being honest with your own feelings, you begin to utilize the energy that you are. It is the first step in understanding and knowing the power of your own soul. And it leads to the second, which is through the statement of honesty concerning your feelings, you are also living, stating your truths, your beliefs, and you augment for yourself the use of the power within your own soul. You begin to move that energy through your entire system. As you do, you open up to a greater extent each of the chakras, which in turn benefit the body, thus aiding the directive of the conscious mind, because now the body becomes more healthy. It removes the toxins, it removes the blocks, and so you are blending the subconscious and the conscious mind. You are also utilizing the two primary directives at each level. I feel, I control, subconscious, conscious. You utilize that energy. It becomes a force in your life that is augmented every day. It allows you to begin to reach those realms that you so dearly desire, to be aware of all that surrounds you, to be a part of the abundance, the prosperity of life, to hold and utilize the wisdom that you are, to be truth, to move within that. The energy becomes that force, that power which cannot be ignored. All in your life begins to move with a new rhythm. All in your life begins to make sense. The confusion is burned away by your enthusiasm, the heat of your enthusiasm. There is no longer room for depression, because now you understand it. You've gone beyond it. You understand the motivation, the reason why it exists. You convert it, that energy. It is a fuel that pushes you onward. Think about the power, for instance, in that depression and worry and anxiety. How much of your day is spent worrying, being anxious, being depressed? That is energy, that is power. Think of it this way. You all pay electric bills. It is a power. What if you left all the lights and appliances in one room on all of the time? Would you enjoy paying the bill after a year? It would be rather expensive. Well, that is what you are doing to yourself when you do not understand the depression or worry or anxiety in your life. You are paying the bills, and they are unnecessary. They are exorbitant. It is costing you happiness, joy, love, peace of mind. It is a high price to pay. If you understand the motivation behind those things, then you begin to utilize that energy for yourself, and you start turning out the lights in that room that have been draining it. You start turning out all of the appliances that are not being used. You do not allow a drain of your energy, but rather you pull it in, becoming your own generator, your own dynamo, and you move the energy in the direction that you choose, consciously. You remove the word victim from your vocabulary, and of course, in the process of doing that, you will have many new friends, because they will want to know why you always go around with a smile on your face. Tell me, I want to do it too. And the first thing you say is, do you really? Do you wish to be responsible? Are you ready to plant the seed and let it grow? Or will you simply put it in a box and put it away? Just as I asked that of you, you may ask that of another, because it is responsibility. You are stating that you are being responsible for yourself. You're hearing the voice of the creative source, and you are acting upon it. First, for your own edification. Second, for your own good. And third, for the good of all others. We talk of bringing a light to the world, of spreading awareness throughout creation, so that all souls may know. That is what the millennium is about. We spoke often of the preparation and the celebration. This is what it is all about. This is part of the preparation, dear friends. And as you prepare yourself through honesty living, stating, acting upon your truth, you are utilizing preparation and creating celebration. They are one and the same. You find that life becomes much lighter, that you have removed gray skies, that it may be raining, a deluge, and yet you can enjoy it immensely, understanding why it exists, how you are part of it, and what it means. Because, you see, once you start understanding your own motivation concerning your emotions, a wondrous thing occurs. You begin to understand others, all others, thus another step in the development of your ability. Whether you channel that through telepathy, clairvoyance, clairaudience, etc. You're taking the energy within yourself, and through that seeing, no understanding, you are able, by living it, to aid others. You allow yourself, by moving that energy through the entire chakra system, removing any blocks, any residue, any malfunction or slowness, you allow yourself to become that conduit of energy, pure energy, that is the creative source. You allow your body to become an instrument for that energy, and your body benefits your mind, your emotion, and your spirituality. At the same time, you are aiding others. So, if you say to yourself, I wish to be of aid to my brothers and sisters, then start now. You have asked for the responsibility. It has been given. Remember, we have always said, make sure of what you ask for. You will get it. And you have. Each of you are here in this millennium because you have asked for that responsibility to aid yourself, to know totally in your heart the power that is the creative source. And each of you, selflessly, in wanting to be here in this millennium, wishes to aid all others. That is the true responsibility you have asked for and you have been given. You have the opportunity to create that consciousness of that love on this planet now, and it is wondrous. It is, by far, the most opportune of all the times that it has been attempted. It is much better now even than when the young rabbi walked on the earth, because all of humanity is ready. Not merely a small group, so you do not have the opposition the others faced in other times. There is only one true opposition, and that is within yourself, the lack of belief of who you are and your own power. So take the first step for yourself. Understand the emotion within your own being and state it honestly. State honestly your joy, your happiness, your sorrow, your anger, and your love. Expect nothing in return from any other. Expect only a renewal in yourself, an understanding, an awareness within yourself, and give the gift freely, expecting nothing in return. It is in that understanding that you receive everything. The energy that flows through this body and that flows through our being is the same energy that flows through you. The only difference between you and us is dimension, planes of existence. The energy is the same. It does not change. It may be augmented, it may be refined, but it is the same energy, and each of you is part of it. So start now, today. You have felt, we have mentioned it here before, you have felt a certain agitation, anger, resentment, impatience, rebellion. It sort of strikes a chord. Why? It is the opportunity. What are you to do with those emotions? Well, you could attempt to run down the little old person who is walking across your path while you were driving, who didn't have sense enough to wait for the light. Or you could kick an animal. You could do a lot of things to vent your frustration. You could cost yourself your own job. You could cost yourself a friend. You could do a lot of things. What is it there for? You may look at it and say, oh, well, that is because this planet was doing this, and that constellation was doing that, and so forth and so on. Well, that's true, up to a point. But remember, who is in control of the planets, the constellations, that energy? Each of you, make no mistake. There is not a master clockmaker who keeps it all going. The ones in control are each of you. The stars, the earth, any constellation is but a reflection of what you do. It creates because you have given it that energy, that power, that superconscious. Now, most of the anger, the frustration, and so forth is directed to a much greater picture. It is directed to injustice, inhumanity, stupidity. All of these things are taking place. Now you could sit there and say, oh dear me, I missed it. I didn't understand how to utilize the energy. My fault, my grievous fault. Well, you're adding fuel to the fire. No matter. These things don't only happen once and never again. If you wish, you can create the same type of opportunity for yourself tomorrow, if you want to be angry. But know why, and then state it honestly. Convert that energy for yourself, for your own expansion, for your own knowledge. Become that which you desire. If you desire to be the healer, if you desire to be the counsel, if you desire to be the comfort to yourself and others, then utilize the energy that you have. Know how to use it. Start to make the first step. The longest journey begins with the first step, and in so doing, makes the journey shorter than it was before you started. This conversation is being echoed many hundreds of times, even now, and in a different way, on different levels, in different universes. But it is the same conversation. Know, recognize who you are, recognize what you possess. It is our hope that as we progress, each of you will come to recognize your own power, to acknowledge it, to state it for yourself and the world and creation. It is each human being accepting the responsibility that is his or her own birthright. So, with that, dear friends, we will leave you. We did not wish to make this very long, nor will we in the future, because too often speakers become quite stuffy, and I never wish to be accused of that, even if it might be true. So, until such time as we will meet again, may the love and light of the creative source be forever on your lips and in your mind and in your heart. And may each of you truly begin to celebrate your wholeness and the beauty of your being. Our blessings to you and all whom you love and cherish.